Hi everyone, today we're going to do lesson 3.10, which is patterns with decimals. You guys have been working on patterns since you were little kids, skip counting, counting by fives, twos, trying to find the different patterns that a number set is increasing by or decreasing by. So this really shouldn't be anything too new, but today we're going to talk about patterns with decimals. So, you guys should start off on page 207. And we're going to look at unlock the problem. A state park rents canoes for guests to use at the lake. It costs $5 to rent a canoe for 1 hour, $6.75 for 2 hours, and $8.50 for 3 hours, and $10.25 for 4 hours. If this pattern continues, how much should it cost Jason to rent a canoe for 7 hours? A sequence is an ordered list of numbers. A term is a number in that sequence. You can find the pattern in a sequence by comparing one term with the next. So our first step, it says, write the terms you know in a sequence. Then look for a pattern by finding the difference from one term in the sequence to the next. So that key is right here is the word difference. And when we see the word difference, we're going to subtract. So when we put the numbers in order, we have $5, $6.75, $8.50, and $10.25. To find out what the difference is, you would have to subtract the first two numbers. So you're going to take the biggest number, or the bigger number, which is $6.75, and subtract $5. Remember, the decimal comes straight down. 6 minus 5 is 1. So that's where we get the difference of $1.75, which is what they also have right here for us. So from each jump, it is going to go up by $1.75 each time. So here we're going to put plus $1.75 plus $1.75, and we should have the money symbols in there. Step 2, it says write a rule that describes the pattern in the sequence. So this rule would be to add $1.75. Bigger. Add $1.75. That's it. That's as simple as you can be for the rule. You're just telling us whether you're adding or subtracting, multiplying or dividing, and by what amount. For step 3, it says extend the sequence to solve the problem. So if you remember, they wanted to know how much it would cost to rent the canoe for 7 hours. So in order for us to figure that out, we're going to have to extend our sequence by 3 more numbers. So we ended in $10.25. So I'm going to come over here on the side and write $10.25, and I'm going to add $1.75. 5 plus 5 is 10. 1 plus 2 is 3. 3 plus 7 is 10. Don't forget your decimal. 1 plus 1 is 2. And the 1 comes down. So the next number in our sequence would be $12. We add $1.75 again. 2 plus 1 is 3. 1 comes down. So the next number would be $13.75. And to finally get our answer for 7 hours, we add another $1.75. So 5 and 5 is 10, carry the 1. 7 and 7 is 14, plus 1 is 15. 3 plus 1 is 4, 4 plus 1 is 5, and the 1 comes down. So if we wanted to rent a canoe for 7 hours, it would cost $15.50. Okay? Let's try another problem. Write a rule for the pattern in the sequence, then find the unknown terms in the sequence. This time, the unknown terms actually fall in the middle of the sequence. So first things first is we have to write them in order, which it's already done for us. And then we need to look at the first 2 terms. And in order to find the difference, we have to subtract. So remember, take the larger number. In this case, it's the first number, 29.6. minus the next number, 28.3. And if it helps, we can highlight these two so you know. And subtract. 6 minus 3 is 3. 9 minus 8 is 1. And 2 minus 2 is 0. So it appears that it is not going up, but it is actually going down by 1.3. So it says, write a rule that describes the pattern in the sequence. What operation can be used to describe a sequence that increases? So not talking about this one specifically, but it's just asking us if a sequence increases, what operation would you use? So in that case, if an operation is, not what I wanted to do. If an operation increases, we would be using addition. See if I can get this to do what I want it to here. And if a sequence was decreasing, which in this case it is, we would use subtraction. I knew that didn't do what I wanted it to. In this case, we do know that it's going down, it is decreasing. So our rule for this problem is that it's going to be subtract 1.3, which is 1 3/10. And then it says, use your rule to find the unknown terms, then complete the sequence above. So we go back up here, and we have to subtract by 1.33 times to fill in these blanks right here. Okay? So we start with 25 7/10, and we subtract 1.3. 7 minus 3 is 4. 5 minus 1 is 4. And the 2 comes down. So we have 24.4 here. We subtract 1.3 again. 4 minus 3 is 1. 4 minus 1 is 3. And the 2 comes down. So we have 23.1. And one more time. In this case, we're going to have to borrow. So that becomes a 2. This becomes an 11. 11 minus 3 is 8. 2 minus 1 is 1. And the 2 comes down. So I have 21.8 in our last spot. Not too bad, right? All right. Let's look at A and B. Write a rule for the sequence, then find the unknown term. So first we have to find the difference of the numbers. In this case, the first number is the biggest. So we're going to take 65.9 minus 65.3. 9 minus 3 is 6. 65 minus 65 is 0. So, and it looks like my sequence is decreasing because it goes from 9/10 to 3/10, and then on the other side of the blank spot, it goes from 1/10 down, or 64 and 1/10 down to 63 and 5/10, and it keeps decreasing. So our rule is going to be subtract 6/10. Okay. And to be able to fill in our blank spot there, we're going to go ahead and do the math. So we take 65.3 and we subtract 6/10. This case, we are going to have to borrow. So this becomes a 4. This becomes a 13. 13 minus 6 would be 7. And 4 minus 0 is 4. And the 6 comes down. So this is going to go right in here, 64.7. Okay, let's look at the next one. This time it gives us the rule, but we have to do the sequence. But it does tell us what to start it with. So our first number we already know is 3500ths. And we know that it's increasing by 1500ths. So all we have to do is take our starting number and add 1500ths to it. 5 and 5 is 10. 3 plus 1 is 4, plus 1 is 5. So our next term is 50/100ths. Add another 15. 5 plus 0 is 5. 5 plus 1 is 6. So we have 65/100ths. And add another 15 for our last term. And we get 80/100ths. Okay. All right. So I feel like we had enough practice with that. It's pretty self-explanatory. So I'm going to go ahead and finish up the lesson with those examples. If you need more help, remember that from 2 to 2:45, that's our study hall time, and you can always log in using my Math Meet link, and I can help you with your homework from 2 to 2:45. So don't forget about that time, because that time you can use me and I can help you get your work done, and that way you don't have to worry about anything else the rest of the night. So for homework, you guys have page 211. And I did assign you guys, and I always assign you number 1, even though number 1 is done for you. But I always really would like you to look at it as a good example before you get started. So you guys are doing 1 through 6. My blue group, I would have to check here. And remember, it's always on Google Classroom. Let me double check real quick. My blue group, you are doing 2, 4, and 6. So blue group is doing 2, 4, and 6. Okay? And you are just doing the patterns just like we just did. So for problems 1 through 2, you are to write the rule for the sequence and then find the unknown term. So that's for number 2. And then for problems 3 and 4, you are to write the first 4 terms of the sequence. So it gives you the first term. It tells you what to start with. So you would actually go ahead and take the number here and write it in. And then you would continue the pattern with the rule that you were given. So for 3, the rule is add 9/10. And number 4, it is to subtract 3 and 1/10 to continue that. For 5 and 6, Let's see, it says if the pattern continues, how much will it cost Nate to rent a bike for 6 hours? So you would have to continue that sequence. It looks like they give you 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then that means you would have to find 5 and then 6. So you'd have to extend it for 2 more times. And then for 6, it says if the pattern continues, how much will Lynn charge to walk each of the 8 dogs? So let me read them to you in case you need it. Number 5, the Ride It store rents bicycles. The cost is $8.50 for 1 hour, $13.65 for 2 hours, $18.80 for 3 hours, and $23.95 for 4 hours. If the pattern continues, how much will it cost Nate to rent a bike for 6 hours? Number 6, Lynn walks dogs every day to earn money. The fees she charges per month are 1 dog, $40, and this is per month. And then we have 2 dogs for $37.25 each, 3 dogs, $34.50 each, 4 dogs, $31.75 each. A pet store wants her to walk 8 dogs. If the pattern continues, how much will Lynn charge to walk each of the 8 dogs? So this pattern, you're gonna have to actually extend it 4 times to get to the 8. So that one has a little work. So you'll have to find the rule and then go ahead and move on from there. If you guys have any questions, again, 2 to 2:45 is your time. Log in. Even if you're in school that day, you can log in with me and I can help you with your math homework. So I hope to see some of you guys at that time. If not, have a wonderful weekend. If you need